Welcome to the Ben Daniel Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you today. Why Caitlin Clark is one of the most powerful women in the world. Folks, Forbes came out with an article, Editor's Pick, in which they named Caitlin Clark one of 100 women, not one on the list, one of 100, so one of many, one of 100 of the most powerful women in the world. The first time a basketball player has made this list, first time a WNBA player has made this list. Caitlin Clark continues to transcend the game, and what I hope Kathy Engelbert, what I hope the WNBA old guard understands, that Caitlin Clark getting named on all of these lists, Time Athlete of the Year, Forbes, one of the most powerful women in the world, Forbes 30 under 30. Caitlin Clark getting named on these lists does nothing but boost the name and notoriety of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark being associated with these lists does nothing but boost the cachet of the WNBA, the clout of the WNBA, the public appeal of the WNBA, and I hope that the old guard and Kathy Angle Braindead understand that this is a win for the WNBA. Just because she's not everybody's cup of tea, just because she's not the old guard's cup of tea, doesn't mean that they can't sit here and understand that this is a big deal for women's basketball, a big deal for women's sports in general. Pretty cool is one way to describe the year that Caitlin Clark has had. Groundbreaking, galvanizing, and history-making are others. After leading Iowa to the NCAA Women's Finals, which was watched by a record 18.7 million viewers, 24 million at its peak, making it one of the most watched games in college basketball history and surpassed the men's final for the first time, Clark went on to become the number one pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. In her inaugural WNBA season, she continued making history. She set rookie records for most points and assists, as named the league's Rookie of the Year. Alongside draft class members Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, Camila Cardoso, Clark is credited with driving a record 54 million viewers to ABC, NBC, ESPN, and their cable peers to watch the WNBA's regular season. Alongside her peers, Reese, Brink, Cardoso, Clark is credited with driving a 54 million viewers to ABC, NBC, ESPN, the biggest the WNBA has been in over 25 years. The most eyeballs that's been on the WNBA in the most 25 years. The biggest superstar to ever step foot in the WNBA ever. The biggest superstar, the biggest name, the most clout, the most ever in the WNBA. The inaugural seasons are a little bit of an outlier because everybody is excited. It's new. It's fun. Once we get to 2002, 2003, to where we are now, these past 20 years, it's been a complete dry spell. It's been in the back of everybody's mind until number 22. As mentioned before, a basketball player has never before made the ranks of the Forbes list of the world's 100 most powerful women. Serena Williams, tennis ace, is one of the only other athletes to appear in the rankings in the last 20 years. But Caitlin Clark was driving force in a game-changing year for women's sports. Game-changing year for women's sports. The Indiana Fever rookie lit the match that set women's sports on fire this year, including a $2 billion media rights deal for the WNBA, gender parity for the Olympics, and record-breaking viewership for professional women's soccer. That's right, folks. The National Women's Soccer League had their best year ever as well. We can't just put things in a vacuum sometimes. What happens in life, as we all know, are chain events, chain reactions. Do you ever see the butterfly effect? No? Go watch it. chain events, chain reactions. Something happens that sets off something else, that sets off something else, that sets off something else. The Jedi Council disrespected Anakin too many times. He had too many visions. He saw his mother die because he ignored those visions. All of those events, chain reactions. Now we got Vader. Salute to all the Star Wars fans out there. I could have taken it a lot. Folks, Thanksgiving, they do a lot of Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. I could have went the Lord of the Rings route, right? Some Frodo, some Aragorn, some Legolas, right? I could have gone that route, right? I could have went the Harry Potter route, right? Some Harry, some Ron, some Hermione, some Draco, some Hagrid, right? Some Dumbledore, right? Professor McGonagall. I could have the Sorting Hat. I chose Star Wars instead. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. Dawn Staley even offered up some comments. I think sometimes you need a unifier, Dawn Staley said. I think Caitlin Clark has done a tremendous job at being that person people want to see. She's brought a different set of eyeballs to our game. Not only has Dawn Staley said this, but if you remember, at the end of the championship game, when South Carolina got their revenge last year, post-game comments, Dawn Staley says, Caitlin Clark, you are one of the GOATs of women's basketball. So Dawn Staley was singing a certain tune back in the day. She understands what Caitlin Clark has meant to the game. She understands what Caitlin Clark has meant to women's basketball, and that's why she finds herself letting on this list. But not only why she finds herself on this list. On the court and off the court. On the court and off the court. It's a spectacle when Caitlin Clark walks in. It's an event when Caitlin Clark walks in. It's to stop what you're doing, pan the camera to Caitlin Clark when she's in the building. Whether it's a Colts game, a Butler game, a Pacers game, a Knicks game. When Caitlin Clark's in the building, there's a different feel in the room. There's a different aura in the room. Why? Caitlin Clark is one of the world's 100 most powerful women, an article by Forbes. But not only was that the only thing Forbes was giving her credit for, she was also named in Forbes' latest 30 under 30 list. 30 under 30 list. Caitlin Clark. They even wrote up her own profile. The first overall pick in 2024's WNBA draft, Caitlin Clark led the resurgent Indiana Fever to their first playoff appearance in 8 years, while breaking the league's single-season assist record and earning Rookie of the Year honors. She also led the WNBA All-Star Game voting with more than 700,000 ballots and has been credited with pushing up league viewership and attendance. Other names that were on this list, Gabby Thomas from the USA team, Ileana Omar, USA Rugby Center, Summer McIntosh, Team Canada swimmer, Kelsey Whitmore, Samantha Tan, a racing driver, and some of these names are a little bit iffy. I got to be honest with you. I need to be honest with you. But it is what it is. But it is what it is. Another accolade for the face of the WNBA. Another accolade for the face of the WNBA. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate all the support. Don't forget to like the video if you appreciated today's content. Subscribe to the channel as well. I would appreciate that as well. As always, take it easy.